Hey guys, what's up? Chili Sports Cards. Today, I want to make a video because I've been hearing something that's been bothering me. People that have big channels and influencers in the hobby, in the card market, have been saying that SGC, that it's not a good idea, or that they wouldn't grade Ultra Modern with SGC. I'm gonna basically tell you guys why that's stupid and why that's bullshit. I'm just gonna call it what it is. If you're one of those people, you're dead wrong. If you guys want to pause it and read, this is gonna be some of the bullet points that I'm talking about in the video to prove my point. Let's first talk about card grading in general. The first one that I want to just nip off the butt is Beckett. There's a Beckett slab right there. They're just pretty much irrelevant at this point. I think that they still, they're a part of the market, and hopefully they will be for a long time. I like Beckett. It's just they're just irrelevant, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. I'm going to be talking a lot about what's the right word? Ethics and morality and integrity and dishonesty and things like that. Beckett, they got scandal. There's a lot of issues with the company. If you just go to eBay and you do a search for Black Label, BGS 10 Black Label, you're going to see a crap ton of Topps Now cards that are all Black Label, and 99% of them are the same seller. It's obvious that it's just a scam. So it's not a good look. I was going to send some cards into Beckett. I talked about it in some other videos, and I just decided that I didn't want to. I changed my mind. I've always been real big on ethics and that type of thing. As far as that matters to me. I work in law enforcement, and I don't support something that's not legitimate. If the company doesn't stand behind their integrity, then I don't want any part of it, and that's just how I live my life. So that's one of the main things that turned me on to SGC from the very beginning, was they didn't have anything involved with their company like that. PSA had the Slabgate and stuff like that. When I started kind of getting back into the hobby. So that way I'm not rambling, and kind of I want to try to cover all the bullet points of what I want to talk about. I'm going to kind of refer back to the paperwork first. So let's talk about SGC first. And then I'll talk about SGC for a little bit, and then I'll go back to PSA. We have to, of course, acknowledge the fact that SGC is now owned by Collectors, which also owns PSA, or which is PSA. So SGC and PSA are united. They're one in the same. Although, however, SGC still runs as a separate entity and its own company. They are owned by PSA at the end of the day, right? So the first thing I'll talk about SGC, number one, says Peter. Oh no, Peter, who cares? Everybody's lost their minds that their president, Peter, stepped away from SGC. Excuse me. Now, when I got back into cards and I sent in my first submission to SGC, it was Ultra Modern, and it was the 2019. And at that time, I was sending in 2019 cards. I was the first one on YouTube to do it, and I got a lot of backlash from it. A lot of people were telling me that I was dumb and that I was stupid, and for some reason, right now, everybody's lost their minds that Peter left the company and sold SGC to PSA. I don't care. I don't care that Peter did that. I don't care that Peter's gone, and then I might not feel the same. It doesn't bother me. The biggest thing that SGC did in 2018 was they changed their grading system from where it was like a 1 to 100 to the 1 through 10 with the 9.5 and the pristine gold label. That wasn't Peter's call. That was in 2018. Peter was with the company, but he was just a grader, I think, at that point. It was some guy named Grady or something like that. It was 2018 when they made that big change. When when everything really took off with SGC, it was kind of at the very beginning of the pandemic when the other grading companies were closed. You couldn't send cards into PSA. You couldn't send cards into Beckett. You could only use SGC. And that kind of is what really set SGC to the races. Peter was not on social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, telling people, "Oh, you guys can send us your modern cards when we grade those too." That was me and a few other YouTubers. The real ones, me, Bubbles and Ball Cards, Natsman, and True Collector, or otherwise known as Guns and Collectibles. We kickstarted that. That was us. That was not Peter. Go back, watch Chili Sports Cards 2019, early SGC videos. I was the first one to send modern cards to SGC on YouTube. So I don't care about what Peter is doing. Okay. Secondly, so I already talked about the timeline, and they've been consistent. Good customer service, good business ethics. There's nothing that SGC has on it that was bad for business. That was a bad look. One of the things that I really like about SGC is the 9.5. So the 9.5, which PSA doesn't have, the card is better than mint, but it's not gem. And that's all. The difference is the 9.5 is stuff you can't see with the naked eye. It's all under magnification. The centering is 55-45 to be 9.5. If you go to SGC and you go to the grading scale, you can read the grading scale for yourself if you'd like to. But I'm just telling you, if you want to know. So a 9.5 is my favorite card to buy. I just picked up this Randy Johnson from Eliteco. It actually came in the mail yesterday. I bought a couple of the sets myself, and I just opened one and it wasn't good, so I decided to keep the other two sealed. And then I was like, I'm just gonna buy the Randy because I wanted the Randy more than the Griffey because I already have some of the Griffies, but I didn't have that Randy. So, anyways, getting off topic. One of the benefits with SGC right now, still, and that might change later on, they don't have the membership. I cannot stand the idea of paying for a membership to grade cards. It is a card grading business. It's not. We pay for enough memberships as it is nowadays. I can't believe that everybody. You guys are like so sheepish. Like you just like. You don't have a mind of your own. Like, I can't even believe that it's gotten this bad with this stuff. Like, oh, we got to use PSA, and we're going to just let them kick you in the ball sack. Guys, it's card grading. And you guys are paying for memberships? Like, are you guys freaking retarded? If SGC does that, then I'm out. I'm gonna just straight up be honest with you. So yeah, over time, the consistency of the actual grading has been much better with SGC. You can just ask lots of people. But as far as like the value in the future, we the consumers are gonna make that decision. We are the ones that buy the cards. We are the ones that decide, who's worth what, and et cetera, et cetera. It's not PSA. You know what I mean? Value more appropriate. So I think this was about, like, for instance, right here, say this Gunnar Henderson PSA 10, because of the PSA demand, it has shot a PSA 10 like crazy high, especially compared to a PSA 9. Whereas in the SGC 10, say this card, this is easy numbers. Say this is a $100 card. The SGC 10, usually in the past, it's always been about 70-75% market value of the PSA 10. Well, which is actually more appropriate? Like, should that card really be worth like the $100 just because a few people are willing to overpay for it? I've always felt like the SGC value has been more realistic, is what I'm trying to get at. And I like that about SGC, and I've always liked that about SGC. I get the same card for cheaper, and it looks better to me in that case, and I like the company better. And I've always liked SGC better than PSA. And that's just me. Faster turnarounds. SGC has always been better with the turnaround times. Do you guys remember when PSA had like a year wait and they were backlogged over a year? Like, and it's always like 5 months. I mean, it's so long, and you guys just keep giving him your money and letting him kick you in the ball sack. I don't understand it, but that's just me. I've heard the term used that, PSA is the ones that created the monopoly by buying both companies. SGC, they sold to PSA. I think it was Peter that made that decision. Shame on Peter. I think he really messed up the hobby for a lot of people, and it pisses me off. I don't think that it was PSA's fault. I think it was our fault. I think that we are the ones that fell for it. Just because PSA tried to do didn't mean that we all had to let it happen. And that's just my opinion. So, getting back to the major topic of the video, if you have a major sports card channel and you got a major voice in the hobby and you're a big influencer, stop telling people that not to use SGC for modern cards because they don't sell for as much. It's freaking stupid. You guys are freaking idiots. Okay, I'll give you a great example. This card right here. This is a ultra modern PSA 9 of a very, very big star in MLB. It's not his rookie. I don't think that it should hold a lot of value. It's a PSA 9. It's a nice card. I don't see anything visually wrong with it. It probably should have got a 10. But I picked up this card. This is a SSP. It's a case hit. I picked up this card right here for like $11, $12. That doesn't even cost the price of grading. So it's really more about what you buy, when you buy it, and who the player is. And if you don't overpay for the card, buy it at a good time. Try to sell it at a good time. Sell it at the right time if you're trying to flip. If you're collecting, just buy what you like. Grade with who you like. you can still use PSA. Just because I don't, and I don't recommend you to only use PSA, doesn't mean you have to listen to me. But I will tell you that if you don't listen to everybody just saying PSA, PSA, PSA all the time, SGC is a better option, in my opinion. Let's go over the bullet points of PSA and why I think everybody's idiots. Okay, let's talk about it. PSA bought SGC, created a monopoly. Okay, congratulations, PSA. You're dicks. Pop Control. Do I need to talk about pop control with you guys? I mean, honestly, it's freaking retarded. And it's a well-known fact that PSA does pop control. So, say if they get 100 cards of that card right there in a month, they're going to say, okay, well, let's let, 20 of them get 10s and then whatever. They'll do that, especially with like the 89 Upper Deck Griffies, some of the more iconic cards. They pop control the things, which is stupid. If the card is what it is, give it the grade it deserves. Okay? PSA, they're freaking assholes. All right. Slabgate. If you guys know what Slabgate is, it was 2019 with the auction house PWCC. PSA graders were working with the auction house. They were grading miscut cards, trimmed cards, color addeds, all kinds of stuff. And they were giving these vintage cards that were doctored up higher grades to increase the value, to make more money, to make the people at PWCC more money. It was just pure ugliness. And if that didn't turn you away from PSA at that time, I don't know what would have. But I know that I've stayed away from PSA for the most part since then. Just watch Elite Code 3 videos. Kansas City Futures, inconsistently bad, and often their grading is bad. They've got terrible integrity, dishonest morality, ethics. The new thing with what they're trying to do with the buying of the cards that are firstly graded, they're making you offers on your cards. It's a huge conflict of interest. A lot of people are talking about it right now. They're pretty much just trying to do whatever the hell they want. And you guys are supporting it. The membership to grade that I already talked about, I think that's just the stupidest thing. It's so stupid. If I ever send cards to PSA, I'm just going to go through GameStop. Yeah. And I like that they actually did that. I'll give PSA that. I'm glad that they gave people an option to grade with PSA without having to do a subscription. Or you can go through a bulk submitter. Let's talk about 9.5s. Bullet point number 7. So the way that PSA goes from a 9 to 10, in the past, which is part of what I don't like about them, in the past they kind of gave it an eye appeal, like, oh, does this look like a 10? And then they would give it a 10 based on if it had the eye appeal of what they thought a 10 should be. With that grader, all grading is subjective, right? Now they tighten up the centering. They're saying, that it has to be better centering now in order to get the 10, which is cool, which is good, which is the way it should be. But PSA doesn't have a 9.5, and that's one of the things that I love about SGC. The SGC 9.5 for me is the best card to buy on the market, as far as terms of the card you're getting. And the overall look and consistency of what the card is and the condition of it and the price point, it's tough to beat. I'm never going to not be satisfied with the SGC 9.5. That's my favorite card to get as far as like the grade goes of that specific card. And I want to say that the most expensive card ever to sell was the Mickey Mantle 52 Topps 9.5. Okay, so it's SGC, guys. It's not PSA. Keep that in mind. Promoted big influences. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. The guys that are saying this stuff to not grade Ultramodern with SGC is just stupid. When you say that, you're also what you're doing is you're also telling people that I wouldn't recommend buying Ultra Modern and SGC. So you might not be saying that directly, but you're saying it, and it's stupid. Buy what you like, guys. Don't follow. Be your own person. Be a wolf. Don't be a sheep. If you like the Ultra Modern cards and you're buying something on eBay that has some value, and you want to make sure that you get a graded card because you want to make sure that it's authentic and that it's in the shape that that grading company that you trust, then buy whatever you want. Is it true that in the hobby that most people right now are spending more money on PSA cards over SGC? Absolutely, it is true, but we're the ones that decide that. Don't let these YouTubers, these guys that have big voices in the hobby, tell you what to do, or just because they sound so smart because they understand the current market. We are the current market. It's you guys. It's everybody. So it's stupid. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a big channel and you say that, you're stupid. Leave me a comment. We'll debate. Excuse me. PSA constant changes to 10s, 9s. It seems like every year they're changing stuff. Like, oh, we're gonna make it tighter. We're gonna make it tougher. And SGC has always just been consistent. They got the scale and they go to it and they stick to it. PSA is always talking about, okay, yeah, we're gonna change it and we want to make the 9s more valuable and we're gonna toughen it up. And give me a fucking break. All right. They got the worst turnaround times and upcharges. Like, I've talked about this in some of my older videos too. Say you go to a restaurant, right? And you order steak and lobster, right? And there's a percentage that they recommend that you tip. Well, because you buy more expensive food, should your tip be more? Because they're doing the same job, right? They are bringing you your drinks and your food and asking you if you're doing okay, and then they leave and they come and check on you after a while, whatever, right? It's the same with card grading. The company, they get paid to do a job, and that's it. Just because your card's more valuable does not mean that you should have to, be upcharged. SGC doesn't upcharge too, but the value on it's a lot higher for the percentage of what they take and stuff like that, and that's mainly for insurance, I believe. But PSA rapes you when you're grading the higher cards, and the upcharges are kind of bullshit in my opinion. I don't like it. Some of the cards that you're looking at, this is what our options are now. You got the PSA, SGC, Beckett, one touches, top loaders, and let's see. Here's a little card saver. Little card saver action right here. If you can't tell, I'm on a big Jalen Hurts kick. I think that he has a lot of potential for hobby growth. So I've been buying some of his cards lately. So, in a nutshell, guys, don't listen to people on YouTube that are telling you not to buy or use SGC for modern cards. They're freaking idiots. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the video. If you stuck, this far into the video, I really appreciate it. If you guys are new to the channel, please do me a favor and subscribe. I tell it like it is, man. Ever since the beginning, ever since I started making YouTube videos, I've always told it how it is. I've always given it to you guys honest, and I've always called out the bullshit when I've seen it. Truthfully, if a lot of people would have watched my videos, none of this would have ever happened with SGC. But it is what it is. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. Have a good day. God bless.